everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Bisportuals, your new favorite sports podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Kyle.
Thank you so much for joining us after yet another wonderful week and weekend of the NBA playoffs. We are in full swing. A couple of the series have finished up now. We'll get to talking about them. Some of them are heated, and some of them are playing right now. But boy, it was a fun week. What would you say was your guys' favorite game from the weekend? Any series favorite game?
Oh, any series you say? Well, for no reason at all, I am going to have to say games 3 and 4 of the Timberwolves Lakers series. Both incredible games. Better team came out on top.
How'd you read my mind, dude? Because I was going to say literally those exact same games because it was incredible. Anthony Edwards is my God King.
Anthony Edwards, my God King. Naz Reid clutch.
I watched Game 4 while out thrift shopping, and I had to go to the corner of the thrift shop to not disturb anybody for the last 2 minutes of Game 4, just on my phone, just what's happening?
Better team wins. LeBron hit wrist.
Hey, big time players make big time plays,
and that's why the big time player is Naz Reid, and that's why two of the hosts on this podcast have his name tattooed on them.
Indeed, they do.
Tatted all over my body.
Naz Reid, he is a hero. He's a Minnesota legend. And Tim Connolly better pay him this summer.
Absolutely.
But in Minnesota, he's become kind of a figure. One could even say a meme.
Ooh, good segue.
See, I'm nice with this. I'm nice with this. I'm nice with this. But there's a lot of memes in the NBA. NBA's been around a while, and people have been making fun of the NBA for even longer. So what I've got here, I've got about 11 of some of our favorite memes, and some of our maybe not so favorite memes about the NBA here, and we're going to put them in a tier list. There are some classics on here, some new stuff on here. I tried to cover the whole gambit with a NBA meme timeline and quality. So are you ready to hop into our tier list for the first one, boys?
Hi.
You could say I'm like a big old chungus for this one.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm
going to watch.
Holy shit.
Ryan.
Yeah.
What is up with the death threats on this fucking podcast? Holy
FBI,
shit, I'm surrounded by psychos. Oh my god.
That joke was a capital offense. I actually have a warrant. I have a warrant.
You think that was worse than Christian pondering?
Yeah, I do, actually. I do. I legitimately do.
All right, listeners, to pull the curtain back, this is the first episode where I've actually consumed alcohol before recording, so I apologize in advance.
Listeners, to pull the curtain back again, please go vote in the poll downstairs. What is a worse offense, Kyle saying Big Chungus or me saying I'm Christian pondering a buzzer noise? Twice.
The twice is tough.
Key identifier there.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. We have our first meme here. A classic mom made pizza rolls. The classic Oklahoma City Thunder.
Kevin Durant looks like he's sucking a cock, and James Harden looks like he has balls in his mouth.
Jesus
that is not at all where I was going with that.
Up top.
No.
Bisportuals.
You gotta rep the queer on this podcast.
No, I was gonna say, in what world does James Harden at this time emote like that? What happened?
What song does he have where he needs to be doing all that?
Exactly. But this, I feel like this is the OG NBA meme. So we had to give credit where it's due. I said I said A in my notes. That's where I was kind of starting at, was an A.
I also feel A on this one. I feel like the caption is a bit dated since there's just so much shit with that sort of vibe.
Style, yeah.
Yeah, like swag meal. And
yeah, the impact
just
impact text.
Impact text, childhood stuff, talk about shitty food.
Top text, bottom text.
It has been used plenty of times, perhaps too much. So, just A, not going S on this one. But I do think this screen grab, this photo is beautiful 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's an OG. You gotta pay your dues, pay respect to what was. So this is definitely an A, because Mom made pizza rolls.
They both look like they're performing oral.
Yeah, but one looks like they're doing it on a man, and honestly, James Harden looks like instead of giving a blowjob, he looks like he's performing cunnilingus.
Yeah.
He looks like he's too into it, but it does look more akin to that behavior.
He looks like he's either too into it or completely like
done.
Not
he's
there.
Bored.
Yeah,
he's
just over it.
No, he's just not there. He is just in his head, like
he's somewhere
thinking about butterflies.
Yeah, he's thinking about missing 27 straight threes against the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, in the future. All right, let's go ahead.
Would it be really funny if I got to the conference finals one day
and decided to miss 27 straight threes? Let's go ahead. Let's move on.
Teammates wrapped into it.
To our next meme, we have "When things get hard, I get harder." Anthony Edwards on his mentality heading into Game 4.
Famous child rearer Anthony Edwards. Yeah. When things get hard, I get harder. He is stepping up to the plate. He's always ready for challenge. You know him as a playoff riser. And
he is
as someone who really likes to be hard.
He does like both of those things.
Yeah.
So
I do think that Ant is kind of the perfect player for this. Phillip Rivers, I would like to see this with him as well.
True.
As he and his wife, I would imagine a Christian family, have a lot of sex as well.
But he has 17 kids.
I think 11.
I thought
Elon still got him beat.
Or no, his number was 17. He has 11 kids.
Yeah.
Yes. He has enough to start like an offensive lineup for the NFL for Phillip Rivers. And in terms of aborted children, has enough for an NBA starting line.
Phillip Rivers does?
Or Ant?
No, I said Ant.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you
I
guys
thought
don't
you
listen
said
to me.
Phillip Rivers.
Wow.
I'm like,
Wow.
Phillip Rivers, I feel like would absolutely never have that, even consider allowing his wife to have that procedure, which is fucked up because it shouldn't be Phillip Rivers' decision.
No, but I would imagine
it's her decision.
I would imagine they're a good conservative family.
They're of like mind in this instance.
Yeah, you would say.
I am going to profile them.
Mm-hmm. So where are we putting this meme though?
I was thinking like C.
I agree with that because like it's a good quote. I think it really fits Anthony Edwards, but it's just like a quote.
I think it's like D for that reason. It's not a
meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny
quote,
really a meme. But
I'm good for D.
I'm cool with that.
Right.
Just like how like the thing that he gets that is hard.
His that works.
Yeah.
That works. That's a joke. That's a joke that was intentional. Thank you, audience.
Yes. Give us the credit.
All Please laugh now.
Please clap. Let's go ahead and move on to our next meme. Here we have "Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy." I love this.
This
meme.
is S.
This is my favorite meme.
This is S. I think in the category of reaction memes, this is the NBA meme, the NBA reaction meme. Anytime a player has a bad performance, although this meme has kind of died down a little bit recently, it's just "get ready to learn Chinese, buddy."
Hi. This is one of my favorite memes of all time. Like not just NBA memes. I love "Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy." This is an S tier.
And when you send it to your friends after like doing bad on a test or something, it's even better.
I don't think it was you guys. I think I may have sent it to Keon after a round of golf one time.
Oh my god.
Or it might have been Joey. I can't remember who it was. But I sent it to someone after a round of golf and they were... It was not
probably not thrilled.
No. But I think it was one of those times we played at Rich Valley before it closed.
Oh. I miss Rich Valley.
But any disagreements on S here?
No.
Yeah. This is a perfect meme. I love it. All right. Let's go ahead. On to meme number 4 we have...
Ooh.
Send a video.
This is the Anthony Edwards meme.
Send a video. 3 words.
I have like
that's all you need.
I have 2 like photo posts on my Twitter account.
Get the abortion.
This is one of them.
Send a video.
Send a video. Like, it's multi-purpose too. It's not just sending a video of you having an abortion. It's you like, again, if you have like video evidence or something, you have to send a video.
Send a video.
Now, again, as we were saying earlier with Philip Rivers, there is some context to this, and I am not particularly a fan of the context. In fact, I would say I vehemently disagree with the context that this was originally posted in.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a Bisportuals stamp and seal. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, just the way he repeats it.
Where to video? Send a video.
It's kind of funny.
The fact that this never should have been public. You're like...
Yeah.
It was a very private thing.
I mean, she should have gone public with it because it is a complete dick thing to do.
But the whole situation should have it's not something that really should be discussed in the public eye. Of
Yeah, I don't think either of them intended for that situation at the moment for it to be a public situation. Yeah,
so I feel like we got to docket a couple points for that, but
yeah, just for off the court reasons.
It is still send a video.
Yeah. Send a video.
I was thinking B.
Yeah,
I think B at the high end, B or C, somewhere in that range was what I was feeling.
At this point in Timberwolves fandom lifetime,
it has died down.
Lifeline. It's send a video, and then it's usually responded by Ant doing the
DMX.
Yeah,
the DMX.
I'm cool with B.
All right, let's go with B on that one. On to meme number 5. Here we go. This is just one.
I'm talking about the man on the Lakers.
Oh yeah. But this is encompasses all of the LeBron edits. So man on the Lakers, talking to LeBron, my glorious King LeBron, the somebody that I used to know edit. All of the LeBron edits.
Thank you.
Yes. I think these are good. I think they're good. I'll start off.
I think they're solid. Yeah.
I think they can either be really shitty or really funny. Depends on the writer. If someone is just doing the same thing but only changing LeBron or not making it fit into the song structure at all, it doesn't work. But if you can get some good one-liners in there, get some references, it's excellent. So
and they got Luka, Don, AD, and then LeBron. The real big 3.
Yeah, and some of these I would rather listen to the LeBron version than the original version. So I'm feeling an A on this. I'm a fan of these for the most part.
I originally said B for Braun because it was just a little alliteration there, but I'm cool with A. I love the songs.
I think these gotta be A.
Yeah.
They're not elite, but of the memes that kind of occurred this season, this is in the upper echelon.
Yeah,
for sure.
And again, I don't know if you ended up adding them. But
there's some later at the end.
Okay,
careful.
Then I won't talk about them because I will say that I like this more than. So I think this is
So A, we'll go with A here.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Next meme we've got. So specifically this clip of the Shaq and Kobe lining up.
Yep. Okay.
This one is just an example of Doc Rivers and Ime Udoka at sex therapy.
Ime Udoka famously slept with an employee. Doc Rivers famously retweeted porn.
Yeah. But any clip of the Shaq and Kobe lining up with just me and the bro heading to the gay party or something.
It's a good format.
Those lines.
The big guy is lining up in Kyle's closet for the end of the Bisportuals recording.
I'll be honest. This meme has lost some of its luster to me.
It got overused really quickly. like once it kind of started, it just like again, it was like if we got a little chart here and a little a scale, it was like kind of
And
nothing, and
I
then
do
oh my
like
god,
some
everything.
variability in uses, like maybe crossing out one word and like the get ready to learn Chinese buddy, and it's like get ready to learn like Hebrew to Patrick
to
Beverly when
Pat
he
Bev.
went. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like, but like I like a little bit of variability like that, but for the most part, I like when they live on their own. This is very reliant on the caption, so I'm gonna have to dock it some points for that.
I said like in between like a C or D initially, just because for me it got really overused. Like again, I'm a doom scroller on Twitter, so I would
I'm a
just
fan of
always
this
see it.
specific example,
Yes,
but
agreed.
as a whole, I am cool putting this C minus D plus.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that range there. Absolutely. All right, so bottom of C tier, top of D tier for the Kobe and Shaq lineup. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to.
Yes.
This is so good.
Oh shit! I should have sent you a couple. I should have sent you the LeBron dentist one. Have you seen the LeBron dentist ones?
I don't think so.
He has more than one post where he says "at the dentist," and it's a picture of him with his mouth open on the chair. Holy shit! Hold on. Like I am going to send these to you so you can put them on screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
fuck,
while Cameron's doing that, Kyle, this was a request.
This was from me. I love this. Just in general, LeBron's Instagram from like 2012 to like 2016 is peak. It is just pure comedy. And just in general, this is the one that comes to mind the most for me. Where again, what kind of a selfie is this? Like what prompts a man to get in this particular position, take a selfie of you and your two sons, and describe exactly what you're doing, which is being up, watching a little bit of Tom and Jerry before you head to school. Like, again, he's the GOAT, no doubt. But like, again, what is going on in his brain?
Sorry.
Oh, what, you're not signed into Instagram?
Someone please help me, please. Dentist, aka Boogeyman.
Hey man, LeBron doesn't like the dentist.
Dentist, aka Boogeyman.
Wow.
There's another one that I say.
And he's got Rio de Janeiro on there.
He does have Rio de Janeiro.
Please, someone help me.
Those are legit 2014 glasses.
Yeah, literally January 2013. He's got the fucking reading specs on.
I'm telling you, I like these more than Tom and Jerry. These are so fucking good.
No, these are good, but they're no Tom and Jerry.
My favorite one from this LeBron Instagram too was there's one where it's like him wearing his Miami Heat uniform, and it was like, keep calm, I'm from Akron. That one was so funny to me.
I gotta say, it's not on here, unfortunately, but fucking him in the pool, living life,
right?
Yeah.
Can't believe this is my life.
Yeah.
Shout out, Gracie Abrams used it in a song.
But
so I blocked her on Instagram.
Up watching a little Tom and Jerry before we head to school, specifically, I feel like this
specific instance like for me is an
A or B.
I think it's his eyes.
Yeah,
it's the everything.
Like, wow.
Yep.
I don't know. Bronny and Bryce are kind of posted up.
Look, their polos are fire.
They're watching Tom and Jerry.
They're lined up. Like their haircuts are on point. But like what is going on in this photo?
Nobody knows.
It's great.
LeBron's looking way too deep in my soul. Yeah.
He looks photoshopped in.
I cannot stop looking at his eyes. Holy shit.
Should we give it A or B? A or B, how are we feeling?
I don't care, but you should keep it on my screen.
All right, let's go ahead and get with A, and we need Cameron back, so I'm getting this off of my screen. You need to get rid of it.
It's the Hypnotoad, but
next
in real life.
Oh, what's up, guys?
We've got, it doesn't even need the caption. This is LeBron saying, I knew Kobe was going to go for 60 in that game.
Yep.
LeBron lying.
LeBron lying.
Like, he's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT. He's the fucking GOAT.
He knew.
Yeah.
Kobe was going for 61 in his last game. He knew.
Did you know that he and D Wade were listening to the Migos in the Heat locker room in 2011 before they started making music?
I don't know what it is. The fact that he lies this much comboed with him always being on the first page of a book.
Yep.
Is just an elite combo. It's a great duo.
He knows how to front.
Truly. Oh, sorry. Are we too boring for you,
moment.
Kyle? Are we too boring?
I'm
Are you too tired? Are you bored?
I am a little tired. I'm a little tired.
Not a Cat moment, but in a similar vein. When he was asked about Ricky Rubio's retirement, and he was just like, now's not the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He just wouldn't even say congrats or anything. Mm-hmm. He just spent like 40 seconds going off on the reporter. I thought that was funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but LeCap, I'm good putting that in A tier.
Yeah.
I was thinking like B, but like I'm cool with A.
I think like
it's
top
so
of B
funny
tier
every time he gets caught. And dude, him doing song lyrics on his Instagram story, and he's just pretending to know the words.
Okay, we can bump to A on that. We can bump to A. I forgot about that.
I think that's part of LeCap because he's lying about knowing the lyrics to a song.
So we'll move LeCap to A. What was next again?
Let's find out.
Oh, classic.
Oh.
I owe you an apology.
This was also a request from me.
I wasn't really familiar with your game.
Yeah, this is another one that works as a reaction in a different sense from Get Ready to Learn Chinese Buddy. I personally prefer Get Ready to Learn Chinese Buddy, so...
Mm-hmm.
This
one's more like, oh, you surprised me with how good you were, as instead of, oh, you sucked ass.
God, you fucking suck.
Yeah, there's not really anything funny about the quote itself, though.
Yeah. It's more or less like a quality of the meme.
It's a good reaction. It's a good reaction piece.
Yeah.
The variety that you can use it in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, someone probably just started using that after Shaq said it, and then it kind of just like blossomed. Because I don't think if this just existed as a quote naturally from like 10 years ago that it would be turned into a meme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is sitting like C.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, I'm cool. We'll throw I owe you an apology. I wasn't really familiar with your game in C tier. Let's follow up immediately with You Can't Fool Me. I am familiar with your game.
I mean, we literally had the argument for the quality and the versatility and the breadth that you could have with that style of reaction. So I feel like this is also an easy C contender.
They're a package deal to me.
Yeah. This is the Shaq and Kobe of reaction. On its own
is funnier because...
I disagree. This is clout chasing. He's chasing his own clout. He is trying to repeat.
Is he rage baiting?
Me, Shaq. I am familiar with your game. You were trying.
Shaq can't fool me.
Can't fool me. F tier, bitch.
Ooh.
Damn. I'll settle on a D. I'll settle on a D tier.
That's where I was gonna go. I appreciate your passion on that, Cam, but like again, we gotta respect the breadth of usability here.
But I just meta-commentated.
You did meta-commentate, and that accounts for something. Finally, we have the last image, the last meme we have. This is just one of them, but this season's new nicknames. This was my favorite of the ones that I pulled. Jalen Green, the ad hominem fallacy.
I like Santi Aldama, the trolley problem. The abortionist for Ant, obviously. We've talked about it extensively during the segment.
Who was
Rob Dillingham, the paranormal activity.
The onomatopoeia was Bam on a bio.
Yeah.
Yep.
The anomaly was Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
What's
the paradox?
The paradox.
The paradox is Cade Cunningham. The predicament is Evan Mobley.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure why that one.
Because he poses a predicament to the
when
defense.
you face him on offense, he poses a predicament at the rim.
But the ad hominem fallacy and the paranormal activity are two of my favorites. But I feel like some of them are just kind of cheeks. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the anomaly.
The anomaly is the one that started it, though.
Yeah, but it's the worst one.
It is the worst one.
Again, in our current day and age, with memes, like the cycle that it goes through, this one, like this trend in particular, got so stale, like immediately. Like there's a couple of like quality ones, but just like there's too much, and there's too much with it.
I still appreciate how it evolved. Yeah. How it went from the anomaly to the paradox to the trolley problem and the ad hominem fallacy. I think that evolution is awesome.
It's a great microcosm of like the growth and death of a meme.
Yes.
And I think at its peak, we got some great ones. But it's not really, you can't pull out a new nickname now.
Right.
Like the time for new nicknames is done. We got to stick with the only thing fallacy.
The only thing that we'll have to pay attention to. Like, people wanted to go back to like the answer, Allen Iverson, or like the dream, that type of thing, and now it's just shortening their names, like Ant or Wemby.
I think the important thing to keep in mind is how long it'll last on Basketball Reference for their nicknames, like in that little section,
until they run out of server space.
True.
Yeah.
So, to rate this is the real question.
But that is it. That is all of our memes for today.
Big shout out to.
Did we put these in a tier?
We didn't rate this yet.
No, but I'm good with B.
That's what I was thinking. It was like a solid B.
Honorable mention to Luka Doncic is Devin Booker father.
Yep.
Anytime a player has a good performance or anytime a player has a bad performance against the Wolves, a star player, I will always say Anthony Edwards or Jaden McDaniels or Naz Reid is blank player father.
Because they are.
It's just necessary.
Because they are.
They are.
Honorable mention to Mariah Mills with the tornado trick.
Oh my God.
She was on a generational run.
So, now that we've gotten our memes through, let's go ahead. Let's move on. We're almost kind of done with most of the series in round one. Let's talk about them. We'll do some retrospectives. We'll do some retrospectives on what did we get right, what did we get very, very wrong, and whatnot. So let's talk about the series that are over first. Let's get to those. The Thunder they got the brooms out. They swept the Grizzlies, and it wasn't particularly difficult for them. It did not look. Ja Morant in and out of games. SGA didn't even, especially for the first two games, didn't even play particularly well, and they didn't need him to.
Yeah, the only game where the Grizzlies looked like they stood a chance was game 2, I think.
I think it was game 3, their first one in Memphis.
There was one where they were up at half.
I think it was game 3, their first game home. Or
I thought it was either 2 or 3. Yeah,
but
other than that, it was just Thunder dominance.
Belt to ass.
Yeah,
I don't see the winner of the Denver Clippers series beating them,
especially with this incoming rest difference. Because we'll get to Denver Clippers, but that's going to be a slog. And coming off of that against a OKC team that's going to have a big rest advantage is going to be tough. But
I think the only critical piece of information from this series was Ja Morant playing better defense against the camera than against the Thunder.
Except he didn't because he still got caught.
Yeah. And again, that defense was ass, which speaks to the level of defense he was playing in the actual game of basketball.
Yeah.
Well, Ja Morant fumbled the bag. He just fumbled the face of the league bag so hard.
Looking back on our first round predictions, we said we all picked OKC. I said it was a sweep. Kyle said 6 games. Ryan said 5. So if we're keeping a playoff prediction tally, that is 2 points for Cameron and 1 point for Ryan and 1 point for Kyle.
1 point for team and 1 point for number of games.
Yes.
Let's go ahead to the other one that we all predicted. The Cleveland Cavaliers absolutely fucking shellacked, bent over, belt to ass, whipped the shit out of the Miami Heat.
The last game, game 4 in Miami, the Cavs won by 55 points.
Mm-hmm. It was abysmal.
Insanity.
It was downright disrespectful.
I also just want to point out the fact that Tyler Hero scored 4 points in an elimination game. So I swear to God, if I hear him in any like All-Star or All-NBA or Most Improved Player, I don't want to hear it. Tyler Hero should not be a topic of conversation for the next year because of that. Other than the fact that he only scored 4 points in an elimination game.
Tyler Hero can go join Klay Thompson
in Dallas.
Klay Thompson shooting 0 for 10,
0 for 10
in an elimination game.
Yeah, but when Klay Thompson did it, that was funny.
Yeah,
this was just sad.
It's just sad.
It was just it was depressing.
I love to see his white ass mean mugging there. He looks so weird when he mean mugs.
He looks so weird with I don't like his shaved head.
He looks so weird.
He looks weird.
No, he's sexy with hair. He's a good looking dude with hair.
He's
not
weird.
My white guy of preference.
My white guy, he's one of my white guys of preference when he has hair. I'm not a fan of his look this season.
But yeah, I believe, did we all predict a sweep on this one?
We did. However, we had them beating the Bulls, but we did give the caveat of it doesn't really matter who.
Yeah,
it does not matter who came out of there. They were getting belt to ass.
Another series that just ended about 3 minutes ago. The Boston Celtics beat the Orlando Magic in 5 games. We all predicted they would sweep, but it was pretty dominant.
They sweeped gentlemanly. A gentleman's sweep.
A gentlemanly sweep.
Yep.
Game 5 that just ended, it was pretty dominant from Boston. I believe they won by about 30 points.
God.
The game that the Magic won, Jason Tatum did throw. The Boston Celtics could have won that game. Tatum had 36 points or something. He was having a great game. But then, whoever the ball handler was, Jason Tatum tapped it back when that guy would have gotten a backcourt violation.
Oh, yeah. I remember. It was one of the Wagners, wasn't it?
I think so. But because Tatum tapped it, and the Magic got possession of it, it did not count as a backcourt violation, and the Magic went on to win the game. If the Celtics had gotten the ball there, they would have had a chance. I believe there was a minute and a half left, and it was a tie game, if not close.
Yeah. Well, yet another time of a role player ruining it for a championship contender team.
Yeah, just one game though.
Well, he didn't really do shit in game 1 and 2 either. So.
Yeah.
But we all had the Celtics, so we all get the point there. We all thought it was a sweep. No point for us on number of games. But all of these sweeps were just truly belt to. It was not close in any of these.
There was never a question once the game started. It was just dominance from second one.
Yeah.
There was
final series that ended.
Yes, there was, of course, one other gentlemanly sweep that I don't think any of us saw coming.
I did,
which
is
the Pacers beating the Bucks 4-1. Damian Lillard in game 4 did tear his Achilles pretty shortly into the first game. We'll talk about that as well in discussing this, but I put my faith in Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he did not let me down. But Cameron, I do have to say, you get a victory lap on a certain employee.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the mic for this one. When we were predicting the series, there's one name I mentioned for why the Milwaukee Bucks would lose the series. That is their employed forward Kyle Kuzma, who brought nothing but misery and terrorism to the court. I would like to give an honorable mention to Taurean Prince, former Minnesota Timberwolf, who also had an atrocious series. However, he was not a starter, at least for 3 out of the 5 games, I think. He started one game at least, I know. But Kyle Kuzma abysmal, atrocious, downright awful basketball terrorist, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned
he's not even a basketball player at this point. He's an employee of the
he is a
Milwaukee
Milwaukee
Bucks.
Bucks employee. There's a
It's
reason why I did not call him a Milwaukee Bucks player.
Yeah.
And I believe that series proved me right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I was very adamant that Giannis Antetokounmpo, and his big, muscular, slender, sexy body, could carry the Milwaukee Bucks past the Indiana Pacers, because the Indiana Pacers, to me, didn't seem like a very tangible threat in the East. But unfortunately, my calculations, and my big board and all the, the formulas, everything, all factors that I brought in left out a very key, like, nuclear missile sized factor of Kyle Kuzma being on the basketball court for more than 1 minute in the game. And if that formula is true, then the Milwaukee Bucks lose. So unfortunately, my math was just that off. So I apologize to the fans and I apologize for Ryan, because my argument, like, when we were talking about it in the moment, I swayed him to the Bucks side, not the Pacer side. So I led Ryan astray. I led our fans astray. If you bet money on the Bucks, I'm not paying you back. But I'm just saying, like, again, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry that I led you that way.
I can't believe, of course, trusting a fucking Wisconsin sports team, and you expected any different.
This is one big, Cameron gets, this is his big I told you so, because he told us. He told us.
He did tell us.
He told us so. I do want to quickly talk about the fact that I have 2 predictions for this. This is the last playoff game Damian Lillard will ever start in, for sure, play in very possibly. I don't know what he does, because he's going to miss all of next season.
Is his contract next season guaranteed? Because if it is, then retire. But if it's not, I would argue that he could probably just, like, faux his physical rehab, or physical training or physical therapy, whatever, until he gets to, like, a playable point and play, like, the end of the year kind of deal, and then retire after that, because he probably won't be good. This is at his age, for the sport that he plays and the injury that he had, like, and the timing of it, like, again,
torn Achilles at 35 is just
at the end of the year is tough, because that's like a full year recovery injury, especially at that age. So, like, if he does come back next season, the earliest that I think I saw, like, slated for him to come back is like February or March.
He's not getting back by February or March. I don't think my money would be on he is not coming. He will not play in the 25-26 season.
I think he will play. I think the Bucks will keep him around, and the East is weak enough where the Bucks will make another playoffs. He's recovered from injuries quickly in the past.
Here's my other prediction. Tough part. If the world were fair and just, and good people got good things, this would be Giannis's last game in a Bucks uniform.
Yes, it could possibly be.
It could the universe could very well be karmic like that, and they could look to move him, and try to get something. Because the Bucks, I believe, for the next 5 years, do not have their own first round pick. It's either trades or swaps.
Yeah.
But they do not have the resources to build a team anymore. And they don't have a team. They employ Kyle Kuzma.
Yes.
So this could very well be, I saw some talk about him heading to possibly Oklahoma City. I agree.
I would hate it. I would hate it, but I can see it because they have the resources.
They're a team that has the picks.
I hope he stays in the East. The other thing that I've seen is, like,
the fucking West needs.
Right. I need Giannis to stay in the East, because if he's in the West, we're fucked.
That would mean literally, like, clearing away the best player in the Eastern Conference.
Four of the top 5 players in the NBA would be in the West.
Yeah.
Jokic,
The
Giannis,
other problem I've
Luka,
seen,
Ant,
Shea.
Shea, 5 of the top 5.
The only other problem I've seen, and like I hate to do it, and I hate to put it in the universe because I don't want to give credit to it, but like, you know, we can't deny it at this point that like the Lakers could trade for him because they fucking traded for Luka Doncic somehow. Like, imagine if they just trade for Giannis.
They already only have 5 guys that they trust, though. That's the
Yeah.
issue.
Bucks are going to need a haul of picks. The Lakers do not have a haul of picks. The only teams that really do out west are the Rockets and
the Thunder.
Thunder.
But I think the Rockets were too locked in on KD. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Wolves get
like,
KD.
I guess,
what if Wolves get Giannis?
Oh,
that'd be crazy. God. That'd be crazy.
What the fuck?
The other team I'm thinking of right now.
No spacing around.
Negative.
Yeah, no. The other team I'm thinking of right now, who is a team that we're going to be talking about here in a minute, in the playoffs, would be the New York Knicks, because they got a shit ton of picks.
No, they don't. They traded away
no, they sent the picks. Never mind. I'm stupid.
Yeah,
and
they
I'm
traded the
tad
picks
bit tipsy.
for
Mikal Bridges, they paid a lot for.
Yeah, that's right. They had
also
the picks before this season.
Just wanted to quickly say the Bucks had no reason losing that Game 5 against the Pacers. The Pacers were down as many as 20 in the first half. It was a terrible offensive first half for Indiana. Caught back up, brought it to overtime. In overtime, the Bucks were up by 7 with less than a minute left, and the Pacers still won.
8-0 35-second run by the Pacers.
Yes. Andrew Nemhart hit a big 3. Tyrese Halliburton had a couple clutch layups. One of them was an and one, and that got the Pacers the 1-point win.
Yeah. Well, let's stay in the East. Let's go on to the team Kyle just talked about. The Knicks and the Pistons are having a brawl. It is a fight at the Garden. It is currently 3-2 Knicks. The Pistons just won Game 5 today.
In New York, big win.
In New York. So they head back to Detroit, looking to even up the series 3-3 after going down 3-1. This has been, and I think we kind of expected it from the Pistons. This has been a brawl, just knuckles in the dirt fight of a series, both metaphorically and literally. Physically, they've been fighting.
Yeah, I think. Just the Knicks have not looked as dominant as you would like them to look. If you're a Knicks fan, the only game that they really won convincingly was Game 1. Game 2, it was a really close game. Game 4, oh no, it was Game 3 that Game 2 the Pistons won. Game 3 it was close. Knicks barely won that. Game 4 Pistons should have won that. Game 4 was the Pistons should have won that game. Missed call. Yep,
Jr.
led for the Knicks to, former Knick Tim Hardaway Jr. was fouled on that 3-point shot. They came out and said afterwards, losing an important playoff game to a bad ref call is something that we as Minnesota Lynx fans can relate to. Mm-hmm. Fuck the Liberty.
Fuck
the Liberty.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't think we say it enough, but fuck the Liberty.
Fuck the Liberty.
That's our tagline now at this point.
Yeah. But this, I agree, Cameron, with if you're the Knicks, even if you come out of this series in 6, you're not like ecstatic with how this went. The Pistons, now all due respect to the Pistons, but the Knicks believe that they are the better team. And I mean, their seeding says they should be the better team.
Vegas is the better team.
They are just...
It's looked like an even fight.
Mm-hmm. It looked like a 4-5 game, and in the East, especially, a 6 seed in the East is not a 6 seed in the West.
Mm-hmm.
This
is the Pistons, who lost 23 games last year, who have not made the playoffs in 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. It's good. It's a great story for the Pistons. This is a great first step. Even if they go out in 6, this is the best season they could have possibly imagined for this year for the Pistons.
Absolutely.
And I think their direction moving forward is really good. But if the Knicks come out of this, because the Knicks come out of this and they'll have to play
the Celtics.
Celtics.
Yes.
I'm terrified if I'm a New York fan and I have to play the Celtics, especially if this goes to 7 instead of 6. Ugh, that's going to be tough.
And the other part, I don't think the Knicks beat the Celtics at all this year.
No, I don't think they did.
So
well, they were like 0-8 against top teams in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, if you have to compete with them in a 7-game series, that's going to be rough.
Mm-hmm.
So, good job on the Knicks. You're probably going to beat the Pistons, and then you can book your
Hang the
plane
banner.
tickets.
But hang the banner. You beat the Pistons.
They didn't do it yet. Tom Thibodeau could be the next Doc Rivers / Steve Kerr.
Again, and my take still stands. If the Knicks lose this series to the Pistons, Tom Thibodeau needs to be fired within the hour.
Yes.
Well, especially if they blow a 3-1 lead to the Pistons.
Tom Thibodeau wouldn't get a coaching job in the NBA ever again.
He probably would. Milwaukee would hire him.
Yeah.
Milwaukee or Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Philadelphia or something.
But he will.
Yeah.
The new process is the Tibbs process. AKA
you just have
play 5
employees.
guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of playing 5 guys,
with the new Tom Thibodeau, JJ Redick.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are now up 3-1 on the LA Lakers.
Wolves at 5, baby.
After JJ Redick decided to play the same 5 players the entire second half of Game 4, something that has literally never been done by an NBA team in the play-by-play era since 1996. Nobody has played a full playoff game without subbing in the second half, except for JJ Redick and the Lakers. And I'll say it showed. It showed at the end of the game. LeBron was tired. He was relaxing it. He was taking it back on the offensive side of the ball. He still had energy on defense, but he was not putting in the work offensively. That settle 28, 30-foot 3 that he took that he missed, that's a tired shot. Luka missing that little jumper, mid-range jumper, that's a tired miss. It was a gamble. It did not work. Wolves in 5.
Wolves in 5.
My biggest question for JJ Redick is, why would you do this when you don't have one of your, if you're doing this, play your 5 best players. And Bronny James not being on that court is downright criminal.
I do want to.
He can provide so many big Bronny boards. So many big Bronny buckets.
This is a take from that was texted to me by a very close confidant, aka my brother, on Sunday evening. He texted me and said, "Airport, Lou Dort, Ant don't care about child support. T-Wolves in 5."
That's beautiful.
That's it.
I'll clap for that, Matt.
Thank you for your contribution to the podcast. But
the only main thing I had for this one was just fuck LeBron James for breaking Luka's bracelet on Ant. That was fucked up.
We're not talking about Luka Doncic. We are talking about a child named Luka who had cancer. Ant has met him a couple times. He gave Ant a bracelet, and Ant wore that bracelet in every single game up until now.
Yep.
When LeBron broke it.
Granted, he has more. He has
a bunch of extras.
Yes, but I was so I saw that live on television, that bracelet flying in the air. And I actually shed a tear. I was on my lunch break. I was in my break room, and I shed a tear. I was so sad.
That's when you knew. And plus, that being on the same play where he went down. We all thought that Anthony Edwards had torn an ACL or something because he was writhing in pain.
Oh yeah, I tweeted out, "I hate you" at King James.
Yes, you did. Yes. And at that moment, it was justified. And
that moment, it was justified.
I think Richard Jefferson. I think Richard Jefferson says it, but the greatest healer in the NBA is the ball. Give him the ball, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
And he popped.
I think he also said it was when you're 23, you see if you cut yourself, you'll see it heal in real time. I think I heard that on the broadcast. I thought that was funny.
The funny thing, he came back from that quicker than he came back from the cramps. The cramps, he was gone for basically a quarter. And this one, he was back up after
for the next play.
A minute timeout, a 2-minute timeout.
Yeah.
God, he's a beast.
Rapid fire before we move on from this. Shout out Naz Reid. So far in the 4 games that have been played, he has gone 9 for 9 from the field in the fourth quarter, hitting some absolutely big shots. A couple of those threes, very very big. Lakers
Let
fans,
the record show. Oh,
Lakers fans, I think you need to learn about the anatomy of an arm.
This is not a part of the hand.
This part right here is called a wrist, and if you touch it, that is a foul.
So this is foul. Now this hand is part of the ball.
Yeah, that's cool.
But this is not part of the hand. So this is what they call a personal foul.
Yep, quick little anatomy lesson for you guys. Also want to shout out Jaden McDaniels. He had his career high in points during the playoffs. You love to see that. He had an absolutely dominant game 3 at home. Wolves in 5. Fuck my prediction. I hope I get that one wrong.
Fuck my prediction. Truly.
Yeah. I hope I get the games wrong. I got the team right at least.
Yep. Me and Ryan said Lakers in 7. Kyle said Wolves in 6. Can we move on to the team they might be playing in the second round?
It seems the NBA, I don't know what their whole scheduling deal was. I thought this was supposed to be a couple of games of basketball, but instead it looks like they booked a boxing match and then said it was Rockets versus Warriors.
They took these players did they time travel to the 90s in the fucking play-in break, because this is some of the slowest, most physical basketball you will ever see.
And you know what my favorite thing is? They hate each other.
Yes.
They hate each other.
It's
so
like
good to see. It's
when you
so
have
beautiful
personalities like Dylan Brooks, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green going up against personalities like Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, James Butler III. They no longer have bitch boy Klay Thompson, but these are chippy players, and it's a chippy series. A lot of fun to watch.
I do want to shout out real quick, or go ahead, Cameron, and then I'll give a shout out.
Warriors are up 3-1, but I'm still personally not counting the Rockets out of this. It's been close most of the time, other than game 1, which was pretty dominant. Fred VanVleet is a terrorist. Yeah, he is kind of like
a little bit
an employee.
But I want to shout out in this game, or in this series, I want to shout out, I believe it was Tony Brothers, the referee, did something really smart with this game. Because if you look at some of the earlier officiated games in this in the playoffs, like Wolves-Lakers game 2, which was a wildly officiated game. Just weird.
No, not weird. Terrible.
Yeah.
Some might say rigged.
But it was bad on both
shout
sides.
Out Chris Finch for his challenges during this
Chris
Lakers series so far.
Elite.
He's been perfect so far, and he's done a lot of them.
But Tony Brothers, instead of letting things get out of hand and whatnot, what he did in this series was if teams started to get chippy, what he'd do is if there was a foul on the floor, he'd say that we're going to go official review, to separate the teams and get them to go back to their own benches. And so he wouldn't have to call any technicals. Teams wouldn't have to rely on timeouts. But if he could see it was getting chippy, the next foul,
he would just make them take a chill pill. He would daddy them a little bit. The next foul,
he'd be like, call the foul. We're going to review it. Back to your benches. Go.
Which is something that I brought up, not in that exact context, but it was like, hey, when the Wolves and Pistons fought, it's like, we knew it was going to happen. Someone needs to step in and stop it. Tony Brothers literally did that, of like, hey, wait a second, I know where this is going. Beep, beep, whistle, beep, timeout, separate. It works.
Split up.
So Adam Silver, you owe me 15% of your service fees because I told you what to do and you did it.
18% of your service fees. What are Adam Silver's service fees?
Yeah. What's the service Adam Silver's providing?
Yes.
Is he blowing you?
Rigged NBA
Are you getting a blowjob from Adam
games.
Silver?
You want 18% of his blowjob money?
I think the owners pay a lot, to be fair.
True.
That leaves us with one more series.
That leaves us with one series, the series that is currently playing at time of recording. It is
Nuggets are up by like 15 right now for the record.
It is the Nuggets and the Clippers 4-5 in the West. The only series tied at 2-2 at this point.
At the moment.
Or the only series to ever reach a score of 2-2. Everything else was 3-1 or 4-0 sweeps. This has been a crazy series. This has been, I think, some of the best, other than like Wolves Lakers, some of the best just raw basketball.
Oh yeah, James Harden has really turned it up. Kawhi Leonard turned into Jesus for a little bit during Game 2. Jokic has been doing his thing. I'm going to be honest, I've not watched much of this series, but I do know those three players have really come to shine.
The only thing I'll say,
it'll
be a brief take here. It'll be a brief one and done little thing. That Aaron Gordon bucket should not have counted. And I mean that with my full heart.
Yes, it should have.
No. Fingertips on the ball. He still had his hands on the ball.
It was
when
through
the
the rim,
lights
though.
on the backboard. No, he still had his fingertips on it. That's still in his possession.
The ball was
by all legal terms of the NBA rule book. That is still in his possession. That is not a shot. The lights were on. He had a shot clock violation. In my interpretation of it,
the ball was through the rim.
Good thing you're not the NFL officiating, because that would be an incorrect interpretation at that point.
NFL, yeah, that would be an incorrect interpretation.
Same with the NBA. It would also be an incorrect interpretation according to NBA officiating.
Yes, it would.
I'm saying.
I think the refs got it right.
I
think it was huge, electric.
And I think if your franchise has to resort to blaming the refs, you're a bum franchise. Cough, cough, Lakers fans.
True. But both LA franchises at this current moment in time.
The Minnesota Lynx are excused from that narrative.
Well, that's legitimately rigged. That's a Tim Donaghy.
That's the WNBA.
That's a Tim Donaghy situation.
We're talking about the MNBA
We're talking about the
right now.
Yeah.
The MNBA, yes, that is fair in the MNBA.
Yeah. And besides, every ref in the WNBA is just a female Tim Donaghy. So
true.
Yeah. Or just Tim Donaghy.
Could also just be 4 versions of Tim Donaghy. But that is our catch-up on round 1 of the NBA playoffs. Next week, as these series finish up, we should be hopping right into our round 2 predictions. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about the NFL. We do a lot of talking here on this podcast. It's kind of all that we do is talking.
What? A podcast where we talk?
You know who else talks? NFL players. They talk a lot. And sometimes they say some dumb shit or some stupid shit or some funny shit. They say a lot of shit. I want to know, how much shit do you know about what NFL players say? So we are going to play NFL Who Said That? I have 7 quotes here from NFL players. You need to tell me who said that quote. Most of these quotes you should be able to know. These are relatively iconic, not so much phrases. These aren't like catchphrases or things like that. We're not going to have any Superman, like things like that. But these are quotes that got public attention after they were said. Are we ready to go? It's going to be a standard buzz-in, whoever gets it kind of situation.
My buzzer noise is... I pondered it.
Okay. Kyle, buzzer noise? Okay. Good to know. Our first quote on NFL Who Said That is... And you can cut me off whenever at this point. FYI.
All right.
President, we need the National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we...
Shannon Sharp.
It is Shannon Sharp on the Miami Dolphins after brutally beating the New England Patriots. The end of the
quote. I don't know if I know that one.
It's there's longer parts to it, but the core parts are: President, we need he picks up the phone to call up to the booth,
the sideline phone.
Yeah, and he goes, President, we need the National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots. Puts down the phone and goes, help is on the way.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
Yep. Was not familiar with that one.
It's a classic. So that's 1-0 Kyle. Here we go. Quote number 2. This one's short, sweet, and simple. We want the ball, and we're going to score. Kyle.
Is it Pat Mahomes?
No. It is a quarterback, though. Cameron?
Dangerous.
No, but closer. Much closer.
Okay.
Kyle?
Is it Peyton Manning?
They just showed Peyton Manning on the fucking Nuggets broadcast shoveling popcorn into his mouth like that, right as you said that.
I'm not watching the game.
That's funny.
Not intentional.
That's funny.
Not intentional.
Why is he in Denver?
Yeah. I think he lives in Denver.
Lives in Denver. Okay.
Just the timing of that. Just
you're in
looking over at my other monitor and seeing him like...
You're in the right era. You're in the right era with Peyton Manning, and you're in the right... I'll give you another hint after camera guesses.
You say closer to Russ. Show me. Christian Ponder.
You were in the right era with Peyton Manning and the right team with Russell Westbrook. Wilson.
Yeah, they're the same person.
Is it fucking... Oh, God. Is it Hasselbeck? Matt Hasselbeck?
It is Matt Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck said this quote, "We want the ball and we're going to score," in a wild card game against the Green Bay Packers before immediately throwing a game-losing pick six.
Yes, I remember now. Yep.
I don't.
He said, "We want the ball and we're going to score." He won the coin toss.
The coin toss.
And threw an interception. All right, here we go. This one, this is a classic. I quote this one all the time. Playoffs? Don't talk about the playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we win another game. If you can give me the team as well, I'll take that. Cameron?
Cleveland Browns.
Nope. Kyle?
The New York Jets?
Nope. Good guess, though. Good guess.
Fuck.
New Jersey Fighting Football Giants?
Nope. This is, I want to say 90s.
Oh, 90s?
So what teams were ass in the 90s?
Buffalo was good.
The Atlanta Falcons?
Kyle's guess. No, they had Mike Vick.
Shit.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
I think the Rams were... Rams.
No.
Can we get AFC, NFC?
AFC. I'll give you one more guess each, and then I'll show you the clip.
Is it the Bengals?
What'd you say? Sorry?
The Bengals?
Cincy.
No, it is not. Here we go. So this was the Indianapolis Colts. Here is the...
They were on my big board.
Here's the clip.
Yeah.
This is head coach at the time, Jim Mora, after getting asked about the playoffs after a 4-game losing skid.
Playoffs? Don't talk playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
That is
solid.
I quote that so often. Whenever someone says playoffs, I just playoffs.
In the year 2025, that would be referred to as a crash out.
He did crash out at that reporter. He did.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so it is 2-0 Kyle right now. Here we go. This one you may not get. I'll give you a couple guesses. I'll give you a hint right now. It's an old head. This is an old head. I've been big ever since I was little. Cameron.
Johnny Unitas.
No.
I'm naming old heads.
Is it Vince Wilfork?
No, but your head's in the right place. Think big motherfuckers.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking big, the next word that immediately follows is boom, so I'm going to say Boomer Esiason.
No.
That's insane.
I don't know who he is, I just know his name.
He was not big.
No.
Okay.
No, Boomer was not big.
His name is Boom, so...
He brought the boom.
I'm trying to think. Give me I don't know why I'm
This guy was so... Being big was like the thing he was famous for. Was just being big. He was so big, he had a nickname about how big he was.
Big baby Glenn Davis.
Wrong sport.
My mind is just stuck on like LaDainian Tomlinson right now.
No.
I know it's not right.
An old head, unfortunately.
I know.
This is, I'm going to call it there. This is William the Refrigerator Perry. I've been big ever since I was little.
Yeah.
So that point goes to no one. We're still 2-0, Kyle. We've got 3 more. So Cameron still has a chance to come back and win. You guys, this is going to be a race because you should both know this one. Kyle should for sure. Oh, you've been watching film, huh? Now watch this. Kyle.
This is Cameron Newton.
This is Cam Newton before cooking
I think
Clay
it's the
Matthews.
Packers, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, Clay Matthews on the Packers. Clay Matthews called out the wheel route, and Cam said, watch this, and cooked him on it anyways.
I haven't known any of these so far.
Damn. Tough. This one you probably won't know, but is possibly my favorite. 3-0 Kyle, on to quote number 6. This is, in the end, we're all going to die anyway.
Ooh, Aaron Rodgers.
Fuck.
No, it is not Aaron Rodgers.
I literally see his face. I see stupid face. Oh.
I see his face everywhere I look.
Oh my god. It's a white guy. I know that.
Ooh, a cracker. We're talking crackers.
We're talking
Yes,
crackers. We're talking crackers.
All right, this is my bag.
I don't know why. Like I'm stuck. Who's that Rams player? God damn it.
The quarterback? Current? Old? When? I'll help you with this because I have no idea.
You want a hint?
God. A little
he's
bit.
He's on the broadcast team for Amazon.
Ooh, Dirk Nowitzki.
No.
I was not paying attention to the Amazon broadcasters this year.
He was on the he was on like the halftime panel. He wasn't on the live broadcast.
That
he was in
doesn't
the
help
pregame and the halftime.
Isn't Booger on Amazon? I know he's not white.
No, he's on ESPN.
Oh, I thought he moved to Amazon.
No, because he was on the ESPN draft coverage.
You are, Kyle, you are correct. This is a white Rams player. Big motherfucker. Offensive lineman. Retired after he got the ring.
Fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
God.
I know who it is. Shit. Whitworth. No.
Yes. It's Andrew Whitworth. Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Cameron.
You beat me there.
It is Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah. I knew it.
I had no idea he was on the Amazon broadcast.
Yeah, it's him and
I forgot about that, yeah.
Big Wit and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Because he retired right after they won the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
He got Walter Payton Man of the Year the same year, too.
Mm-hmm.
Final quote. It is 1-3 in favor of Kyle. Cameron got that point because he got it first. This is possibly the hardest quote, especially given the context
hardest
of this.
quote as in getting it or dropping it?
Dropping it.
Oh, okay.
Especially in the context that this quote was said. 4 words, simple, quick, and easy. I fear God, boy.
It's DeAndre Hopkins. Sorry, I didn't buzz, but yes.
It is DeAndre Hopkins before absolutely cooking and breaking Derek Hall's ankles at a joint practice in the offseason. Because Derek Hall tried to start some shit with D-Hop, and all D-Hop said was, I fear God, boy.
I fear God, boy.
And then the next round.
That's hard.
At the next round, he literally broke Derek Hall's ankles.
That is
he
hard.
got medical attention. Well, that is 4-1 to Kyle. That's a gentleman's sweep. A gentleman's sweep for Kyle on the NFL quotes.
I also put the ball on the tee for Cam's point there with all my thought process.
Kyle.
It was Raven, or it was O lineman who retired. Yeah.
Kyle, since you won the quote game,
I was thinking 2000s Rams. I was thinking
early.
Fucking
Yeah.
Warner and Falk.
Okay.
Yep.
No, Kyle, since you won the quote game, I want to give you an opportunity. The microphone is yours. What quote would you like to end this game with?
Ball don't lie.
You're so fucking right, dude. The ball never lies. Ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie.
This one's for you, Rasheed Wallace.
A better quote. But...
Well, you lost, so it has to stay in your head forever and ever and ever.
No, I'm gonna say it after we say bye. I'm gonna say it then,
But back to the NFL. There was a lot of talking that happened in the NFL, especially by Mel Kiper, who needs to shut the fuck up.
He needs to retire. I'm sorry.
It was this weekend. It was the NFL draft. Holy shit! The fact that I saw this take on Twitter about the NFL draft, and I couldn't agree with it more. So many of these motherfucking guys worked so hard to get their name on the screen, on the ticker, to get drafted in the NFL, just for it to be overlapped with Mel fucking Kiper complaining that no team had picked Shedeur Sanders yet. Shut the fuck up.
If this mic was Shadeur's cock and I'm Mel Kiper, this is what he was doing.
He was licking it. He was paying extra attention to the tip, dude. It was insane. Abysmal.
I would like to shout out another horrible take about Shedeur Sanders from White House press secretary and proud owner of 3 total brain cells, Caroline Leavitt. After the first round of the draft Thursday night, Trump tweeted on Truth Social. Basically, like, Deion is an NFL legend. Someone better pick Shedeur immediately.
After the first round was done.
Day 2 of the draft comes. Rounds 2 and 3 of the draft happen. Shedeur Sanders is not picked. Day 3 comes. We're on to Saturday. Round 4 of the draft. Shedeur Sanders is not picked. He is picked up in round 5 by the Cleveland Browns. Rounds 2 through 4, every single NFL team picked at least one player. The Cleveland Browns picked 4 players, including another quarterback. And Caroline Leavitt walks out there Monday morning and she says, President Trump put out a statement and a few rounds later he was drafted. The facts speak for themselves, don't they? You fucking dumb. Worst,
stupid.
Worst sports take ever, possibly.
It's up there. A few rounds later, he was taken. Yeah, in the 5th round.
Days later.
That was
a few
2 days later. It's not like a round of a draft. It's not like, 3 teams picking a round. No.
It's like every team picks at least once. Especially in rounds 3 and 4, it's twice.
And the team that ended up drafting Shedeur Sanders, quote unquote, immediately, 4 picks.
And they took, like you said, they took Dylan Gabriel before Shedeur Sanders. I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to be a better NFL quarterback than Shedeur, to be clear.
But, to be fair, I don't think either of them are going to be NFL quarterbacks.
You're right. The Cleveland Browns are not an NFL team.
So. No, true. But like training camp, merchants.
Oh. I don't know. I think Shedeur will get a shot somewhere.
I hope he gets a shot because I think I agree that his skill vastly outmatches his draft position. I don't know if vastly is the right term because this was a weak quarterback class, but he is definitely not a third round talent. He is a 3rd round talent at the worst, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. But let's get talking. Since we can't trust the institutional draft analysts, because I look, I'm not going to say that for about 30 minutes last week our brains got hacked by Big Draft, and that's why our mock draft was so incredibly inaccurate.
We got a total of. What do you mean? We got 1/8 of the picks right.
I got 2 of them right. You guys both got 1. So I'm just saying. I want to take my victory lap here. That the Packers and the Colts owe me so much money now because I told them
the Raiders do owe me a portion of Ashton Genty's contract and all future contracts with him moving forward.
Ryan, a shit ton of Cam Ward's contract.
I was gonna say, give me the most guaranteed money out of the entire draft. So
yes, because that was a very bold take.
Mm-hmm. I really put myself out on the line there for that one.
And you really influenced the Titans' decision.
Mm-hmm. They listened. What can I say? 15%.
But
let's go ahead.
Came out after the draft.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. We sent an advanced copy to.
Of course. We had to give them. Yeah.
Yeah, had to give them notice. But let's go ahead. Let's talk winners and losers here. We've all got one winner and one loser. At least one winner and one loser of this draft. I want to go ahead and start with my winner, if I can.
Yeah.
I want to shout out the Las Vegas Raiders. That team, specifically that offense, is going to be one of the most potent run games, I think, in the NFL. First round pick, they got Ashton Genty, best running back in the class. One of the best skill position players, if not the best skill position player in the class. It's between him and Travis Hunter and maybe like Tyler Warren. But take that I saw by Brett Coleman, who generally I agree with his like analytical football takes, maybe not so much his draft analysis, but the floor of your running game is set by your offensive line, and the ceiling is set by your running back.
I would agree with that.
The Raiders' offensive line was a problem last year. They've switched it up this year. They're expecting it to be better. If they can just have a league average offensive line, Ashton Genty is going to cook. I think if their offensive line turns out well, if Geno Smith turns out to be a solid quarterback for them, and if they can have someone other than just Brock Bowers catching the football, I could very well possibly see the Raiders winning the competition for second place in the AFC West. I think they could.
Yeah.
I think they could.
I think Genty going there. I do like him as offensive rookie of the year.
Because he's going to get touches. He's going to get touches.
Could be Cam Ward, but I do feel like they're also a little sad about not being able to give it to Brock Bowers last year.
Yeah. So, Kyle, I want to head to you. We'll start with winners. Give me your winners of the NFL draft.
Yeah. I had 3 teams on here initially, but I may cut one of them out just to kind of hone in on some of them. So I'm going to stick with like the Titans and the Pats. And it's not just like, hey, they had really high draft picks. They got a lot of value out of it. I just think that like organizationally throughout this whole draft, they picked the right things for their team. If we just look overall at the Titans draft, like if they picked Cam Ward, they picked an edge, they picked a safety, they picked 2 wide receivers, they picked a tight end, they picked an offensive guard, they picked a cornerback, and they picked a running back, which again are all positional needs that the organization needed to address. Like if you looked at like their top 5 needs, it's quarterback, it's wide receiver, it is safety, it is edge, and it is O-line. They knocked out all of those. And I feel like, again, with the picks that they had, was good positional value in the draft and good positional value for the organization. And then we look at the Patriots, who they had a lot of picks. Just looking at it, they had 3 picks in the 7th round. They had 2 picks in the 4th round and 2 picks in the 3rd round. But I'm a big fan of Will Campbell here. I had no idea who he was in the pre-draft process. I knew he was a high pick, but I didn't really pay attention to his game other than like the Senior Bowl where he killed it. But the quote of him on stage saying that he will fight and die for Drake May is exactly what the Patriots need. That's a Mike Rabel guy through and through if I've ever seen one. But again, they also got Travion Henderson. They got Kyle Williams. The other one that I was really big on was a Kobe Minor from Memphis, that cornerback that they took really late in the 7th round. Yeah, Mr. Relevant. Like I was really high on him going into that. There's also another Kobe, which was Kobe Bryant, who I was surprised when undrafted. But again,
yeah, good pickup for the Falcons there. He had didn't he have like a 3 interception game last year?
Yes, he did at Kansas. Which, granted, Kansas football isn't the greatest, so I can understand some of the fall. I just was really surprised that he went undrafted. The Pats addressed organizational needs, a lot of roster needs, and they had a plethora of picks that, for a team that seemed very slim in terms of skill this past year, definitely picked up a lot of slack in that department. So between the Pats and the Titans, those were my 2 winners.
Kyle talked about 2 Kobe's that went in the draft. A 3rd Kobe that went in the draft, and the 6th round, 25th overall pick is linebacker Kobe King to the Minnesota Vikings, who I'm picking as my winner. as they were the only team I paid attention to outside of the first round. Yeah, they got Donovan Jackson at pick 24. They didn't end up trading the pick like a lot of people thought they would. But this finishes their complete revamp of that inner O-line. They kept their two Pro Bowl tackles.
Wall of St. Paul.
Yes.
What
kept
a
their
name.
two
What
Pro
a
Bowl
fucking
tackles
name.
and Darisaw and O'Neal. They bring in Will Fries and Ryan Kelly from the Colts, and now we have Donovan Jackson on the other side of Will Fries there. This O-line just looks a lot different. I have a lot more hope for this O-line, Donovan Jackson, although he might have been a little bit of a reach at that pick. Obviously shows a lot of potential. He played tackle in his final season at Ohio State. Yeah.
Because Josh Simmons got injured.
Yes. And he excelled at that. Bringing him back to his natural position of guard here in Minnesota, I think he's going to do a lot of good things. He's a very, very big guy.
Let's be clear, in his first game at tackle, who he had to go up against? Abdul Carter. He played Penn State. He got cooked by Abdul Carter.
All right, well, that's Abdul Carter who was drafted over him.
Yeah, that's why. But Abdul Carter was literally a beast, and no one could really stop him.
Yeah, Vikings didn't have a lot of picks. They only picked 5 players in the draft, coming into the draft originally with only 4 picks, but they also traded. They got Sam Howell from the Seahawks. They also picked up Max Brosmer, Golden Gopher, undrafted.
Skyuma.
And in the third round,
Sam Howell guy.
Don't know anything about him. Heard a lot of people saying he's very much of a reach, but it seems like the Vikings front office is super excited to have him. Ty Felton, wide receiver out of Maryland.
He's a burner. He's a speedster.
Our wide receivers coach was so hyped for him. Kwesi and KOC both looked like.
Shout out Keenan McCardle.
Yeah, everyone up in that draft room absolutely loves him, which gives me a lot of optimism because I
trust him.
Yeah, it's the Vikings. Do you trust them
in the draft? Well, drafting wide receivers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, such success stories as Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, and of course, Laquan Treadwell.
Successful Quan, who is headed into year 11 of his NFL career. Don't call him a bust.
I never would.
Never would. Successful Quan. Yeah. Do you mind if I start off the losers?
Go right ahead.
Yep. Wanted to shout out one loser really quick. Aaron Rodgers, watching the Packers draft an offensive weapon in the first round for the first time in 23 years after spending years and years and years of his last decade in Green Bay begging them to draft someone in the first round, give him an actually solid talent, solid prospect to throw the ball to, pass the ball off to. They never did that. They're doing it for Jordan Love.
Let's be clear. Not only did they draft a wide receiver in the first round, they also drafted another wide receiver in the third round, I believe. Savion Williams out of TCU. So I think multiple.
Yeah, I think if Matthew Golden can develop for the Packers, they have a super solid wide receiver room because they already have 3 players who would be great wide receiver 2s.
Mm-hmm. The Vikings fan in me hopes he doesn't, but
to shout out an actual team that I want to pick as a loser, Giants. I think that Jackson Dart. Well, obviously you got probably the top talent in the draft in Abdul Carter, but you did trade back up into the first round to get Jackson Dart, who, in my professional opinion, will be the next Daniel Jones.
He does look like him because he's a cracker.
He looks like him. He plays pretty similar to him.
A lot of cracker quarterbacks drafted.
Too many, arguably.
Will Howard, Shuck, Tyler Shuck.
Cracker.
Quinn Ewers got drafted.
Quinn Ewers
is a Miami Dolphin.
Dylan Gabriel is a
who's
cracker.
the Ohio State quarterback?
That was Will Howard.
Will Howard. Yeah, dude, his fucking draft video. I don't know. I spent an hour yesterday just watching draft phone call videos and tearing up. His got me. He and his mom were sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's Will Howard's been a hell of a story.
So. Yes.
Don't know much about him, but have fun in Schittsburg, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead, and then Kyle, you can close out with the losers. I want to talk about not so much a loser in this year's draft, but because of this year's draft, they will be losers. The Atlanta Falcons, mainly because they spent their first round picks getting defensive rushers. They got an edge player and a linebacker. They traded up to number 26 with the Los Angeles Rams to get James Pierce Jr., who's a solid talent. And they also got Jalen Walker, one of the top linebackers in the class, earlier at 15. The problem, you traded up to select a defensive player and you gave away way too much. They gave away their first rounder, their second rounder that year, and their first rounder next year. Especially in a class where you better be so fucking sure that Michael Penix Jr. is the future of the franchise. Because if you're going to be picking, if you were bad this year, you could be picking top 10, and you could be getting, maybe not Arch Manning because he's going to go 1, but you could be getting a top quality quarterback next year to actually carry your franchise instead of Michael Penix Jr.
Dylan Raiola.
True, Dylan Raiola
is an option, I think.
The kid out of Penn State. I'm forgetting his name, but he was a dog.
What are you talking about? I can't think of his name right now. There's also the LSU guy.
Yeah, I just don't really like when teams trade away first round draft picks.
Drew Aller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I think we've seen it a lot recently where teams have traded away their first round draft picks and it has bit them in the ass. We saw that with the Carolina Panthers. We saw that with the Buffalo Bills trading away a first round draft pick to the Minnesota Vikings that was then used to take Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm. It's just if you're gonna do that, you better be the Rams and you better be about to win a Super Bowl. And I don't think anybody in the world thinks the Atlanta Falcons are about to win a Super Bowl.
Not while they employ Kirk Cousins. It's just physically impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even just about employing Kirk Cousins. It's about having Kirk Cousins on payroll.
Surely. All right, Kyle, do you want to finish us out here?
Yeah, I got the obvious answer. The elephant in the room, you could say, in terms of draft losers. The Cleveland Browns. Because what the fuck? Like, what weed were they smoking? Because, brother, pass me that joint. Like, holy cow. Their decision-making is absurd. Again, they traded down with the Jags, ended up with Mason Graham, who was the top D tackle in the draft, and then picked in order. I'm naming these people because they deserve to be named. Carson Schlesinger, who is a UCLA linebacker.
Who?
Exactly. In the second round, which is insane. And then 3 picks later, where everybody thought they were picking a quarterback, they pick Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State, who is a great running back.
Quinshon Judkins is actually the two Ohio State running backs went like 3 picks apart.
Yes, which they deserved. It was a great 1-2 punch that won Ohio State a national championship. So again, Quinshon Judkins, great running back. And then with their third round pick, or one of their third round picks, they picked Harold Fannin Jr., who is a tight end from Bowling Green University.
Like Bowling Green, Ohio?
Yes.
They still have a team?
Yes.
And they had a third round draft pick.
Yes. In the year of our Lord, 2025. And then
I would have thought that they would have disbanded after peaking and beating the Minnesota Golden Gophers in their homecoming game in 2021.
Mm-hmm. You would think. And then with their other third round pick, they picked this quarterback out of Oregon named Dylan Gabriel, which nobody had on the Cleveland Browns board at all. And then to round out their draft with the remaining 2 picks, they picked Dylan Sampson, who is a running back, who they already completed their hole at running back.
And they drafted another Nick Chubb coming back.
Yes. Running back
is not going to be the same.
He did lose a step when he came back last year.
He's not going to be the same, but
that's why he's going to have more time healthy before playing.
You'd already have the 1-2 punch with Quinshon Judkins, who was the workhorse back at Ohio State. You don't need a third running back there. Like it made no sense. And then with their last pick of the draft, they finally picked Shedeur Sanders, another quarterback. You know how many quarterbacks they have on the roster right now?
5.
5 quarterbacks. Only one of them gets to play.
It's a wonderful band of misfits.
I saw some reports that the only reason they took Shedeur is because ownership stepped in as well.
Yeah.
Stefanski did not want to take him.
Yeah, either the Browns owner stepped in or Roger Goodell took a gun to the owner's head and said, if you don't draft him, I will kill you.
Or President Trump. They were so moved by his statement.
On Truth Social.
And again,
on Truth Social.
There were so many other needs from the Browns. Their defense, other than their D-line, which, again, like, they got Myles Garrett and then they drafted Mason Graham, who's going to be a great 1-2 punch there. But, like, their linebacker room, their safeties, their corners, like, they need help on defense. They did not draft any other defensive players. And then on their offense, I would argue that they need help on the O-line. They need help in the wide receiver room. And they did not touch either of those rooms in the draft, and instead loaded up their quarterbacks and loaded up their running backs, which were not their problem this past year. So I have no idea what the hell that GM is thinking.
Congratulations, Cleveland Browns, for having 5 mid to low tier quarterbacks. Just to play devil's advocate a little bit, I don't think Jacksonville improved enough to where their pick next year is going to be outside the top 10. I do think having that pick is going to be nice for them.
But, I mean, if their GM is still employed with them, he's going to throw it away. He's going to diminish the value of that pick immediately.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see how Mason Graham turns out, because I think if he can really work out for them, then that trade is going to be looked at a lot different, even if Hunter is a success.
Jacksonville came out and said that Travis Hunter will be a wide receiver first and a corner second there. So that's something to keep an eye on for them.
Yeah. Who's their other? Brian Thomas Jr. That's going to be a nice young duo.
Yeah. Good 1-2 punch. But one thing, the draft, it's a crapshoot. You never know what you're going to get. Quality is so variable. But you know what is always high quality and good work? That's right. It's Cameron's Album of the Week. Cameron, what do you have for us this week?
I have this new quickly project called I Heard That Noise. This was released about a week and a half ago at time of recording, exactly 2 weeks ago from upload date of this podcast. This is I guess, indie, folk, rock, pop, electronic, ambient amalgamation from Portland singer-songwriter Quickly, also known as Graham Johnson. I don't have a ton of background on him, frankly, because there isn't a ton of background. He does not have a Wikipedia page. But he's 22 or 23 from Portland. This album that he spent 3 years writing, recording, and engineering this project. A couple years ago, he went on tour with Quadeca, which is how I first heard of him. He had a 2023 single that really caught my attention called Satellite. It's a really cool, like, folk jazz hybrid song. I think, Ryan, you would really like that song. He last year, 2024, he also did a cover of my favorite song by one of my favorite artists, a song that I have talked about on this segment, Nick Drake's From the Morning. And 2025, he comes out with this. I don't know if it's technically considered his debut album. He's got a 2021 album called The Long and Short of It. I don't know if that's more of a mixtape album. This is his first studio, like, under a label album. And yeah, knocked my socks off, completely blew me away. I currently have it in my top 5 of 2025 albums of the year. Not going to run through every single track, but I do want to shout out 5 out of the 11. First, I'm going to tracks 4 and 5, This House and This Room. I kind of saw them as a story, 2 distinct parts, but sort of carry the same, I guess, general theme. This House is mostly the protagonist looking at a house, noticing how it's decaying, falling, returning to nature, and reminiscing on the times that he spent there with a former partner, coming back to that house every night, looking to see if that partner would show up, would be there. and it's beautiful. It's haunting. Then we get to This Room, which is, I don't want to say more upbeat, but has a more, I guess, it has a brighter sonic palette. In this song, we learn more about this partner. They are in a mental institution or rehabilitation facility of some kind. He gets a call from them. They're miserable there. He'll do whatever he can to make this person better, make this person happy, whether that be checking them into a mental facility, checking them out of a mental facility, and they're still going to be mad at him. He's okay with that. Uh, yeah, this is a story that hit a personal note for me. This Room in particular had me low key sobbing at work when I was listening to it. Um, those two tracks are incredible. I think This Room is my favorite on the album. Later down, second half of the album, actually just in between. After This Room, there's an interlude song, Big Beginning Band Day One, just sort of noisy, but there is a sort of beauty to come out of that noise. It's very well arranged. I Punch Through a Wall is sort of a noise pop track where he talks about going through heartbreak and pain, and how you can just play it off, act nonchalant, act like none of that touches you, but all that does in the end is make you cold, make you numb. I thought it was a very interesting message, and he brings in this booming background guitar in the like outro of the track. Sounds really cool. Next up, Hero. This song it just sounds beautiful. He does a little like vocal ascension, like da 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 da, or something like that. It reminded me of the song Pizzala by Elliott Smith. If any of you guys know that song, listening out there, incredible song. Very similar vocal run there. Just sounds great. He does say, maybe I should go to Philly during the song. Word of advice: do not go to Philly, as Joel Embiid is employed there.
Boo Philly.
Boo Philly. Last track in this little 3-track run that I wanted to shout out is Raven. It instantly reminded me of the Mount Erie song I Saw Another Bird that was on their 2024 album, which was my album of the year last year. Both of these songs have the protagonists. It starts off by them looking at a raven, wondering what it's like to fly, wondering what they're saying, wanting to be a part of that conversation. Phil Elverum, Mount Erie, he looks at this in a different way of, oh, the crows, the ravens, they have just a different worldview than the rest of us, and it's very interesting how we can coexist and just be completely different. The ravens, they have their own language. They look at humans on the ground like, oh, look at those idiots, they can't even fly. Quickly takes a different approach to the subject. He compares seeing this raven to losing a friend, to alcoholism, and hoping that this person can get better, trying to be like, hey, stop. And this friend unfortunately passes away. He compares seeing the raven and later a wolf to saying that he was scared, unprepared, wondering if they were talking about death. And he compares that feeling of these creatures that remind him to death to the feeling of death that his friend faced prior to their passing. I thought that was particularly powerful, and the song itself sounds great. Yeah, overall, I would recommend this album to anyone. I think sonically, Kyle's gonna have a bad take, but I don't think there's any barrier of entry to this album. It has a large variety of genres that it can introduce people to, as well as be some sort of familiarity. Yeah, beautiful album. I primarily understood the core theme of it as loss in different ways. Beautiful sonic landscapes. He really pulls you into his world throughout the 41-minute duration of this project. Absolutely check it out. 9 out of 10. Yeah, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going to preempt Kyle on this because Kyle's going to have a bad take.
Yeah.
But this is, out of all 17 now episodes of Cameron's album of the week, this is my favorite. This is my favorite album far and away. I love just the sonic palette of it. It sort of hits you with a little bit of a misdirect at the very beginning of the album with the title track. I heard that noise. I want to shout out. It's in the same run that Cameron talked about, so I won't talk about it too long. But my two favorite tracks, far and away, are "This House" and "Raven." I just thought those two songs specifically, on first listen, I just fell in love with them. But that whole six, and I agree with you now that you said it, Cameron, of like, I don't think of it as a 6-song run. I think it's like 2 songs, an interlude, and then another 3 songs, but it's 6 songs in a row listed on the album, so I'm calling it a 6-song run. That run of This House through Raven is one of my favorite like middle sections of an album since, I don't know, probably since, very different style, but since like Chromacopia, the middle of that album. Both incredibly strong. This is a great album. Love it. Highly recommend.
And now to the viewers at home, don't listen to anything negative Kyle is about to say.
I'm going to keep it as positive as I can.
Boo.
But, I'll just preface by saying that maybe this album wasn't intended for me and my style of listening. But, to comment on Cameron's point for barrier of entry, to me personally, and in my literal listening experience for it, the entry to this album was hard for me. It definitely wasn't maybe what I was expecting or maybe what I was anticipating. And I hate to do it to an album that after re-entering it at a different point and enjoying some of the songs, the first 2 songs made me literally fall asleep. It was not something that I was anticipating.
Maybe just because you were tired. Maybe you were just a tired guy.
It might have been that I was tired, but there was nothing there that engaged me, or like particularly made me listen to. And the style of it was very like folk to start in my eyes and my ears. And it just, again, it wasn't something that I immediately clasped onto. Granted,
re-listen to anything, fully awake, the vocal harmonies, beautiful.
Okay, I can do that. But again, at the time of listening, it was something that immediately turned me off of the album. I did come back before the recording today and listen to This House, and I will say This House fucks. It's a great song. And then listen through the rest of the album, and I see where a lot of that quality is that we've been talking about. But again, it's not something that was in my wheelhouse per se.
Just consider that payback for all the electropop and hyperpop albums that have been on here so far. Mm-hmm. Now we're finally we're in my wheelhouse.
I don't know if I've had an electropop album.
I meant shoegaze, noise rock. I heard that noise. Beautiful. Listen to it.
Yep. Check it out.
Check it out.
Shout out quickly.
With that, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to us talk about sports. If you're listening to this on release, I hope you have a happy Friday. If you're listening to it during the weekend, I hope you have a good weekend. If you're listening to it during the week, I hope you have a good week. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Pussy so good, made me throw up the set. Hey.